Hey up me oats. It's Sunday. I've not really recorded much this week, so I thought I've just cracked open a beer, so I thought I'd do a review with the brew. So it's not actually a beer review. It's where I review something from maybe a movie. We've done some movies before, but this one's actually a TV show, and it's one that everyone has been talking about almost continuously for about a month and a bit now. I finally cracked from everyone's constant, "Oh, you really need to watch it, really need to watch it." And over the last 2 days, I have watched the entirety of Squid Game. Um, I always said I'd never watch it because it looked terrible, and the people who told me about it, I have no respect for their opinion on anything in the world of entertainment. Um, but then I decided, because I heard it was like violent and gory, I decided instead of watching it all, I'd just watch a YouTube clip of like where they just condense all the kill scenes. So I thought I'll just watch that. So I put that on, and within seconds I was hooked. So I was like, well, it was the red light, green light game. I started watching that. I watched about 10 seconds of that, and I was like, well, if the show's like that, then I need to watch this because it's violent, it's gory, it's gonna be awesome. So I decided to watch Squid Game, and yeah, I watched every episode, and it was shite. Yeah, it was really bad. It was even worse than I thought it was going to be. Um, it was beyond boring. I have no idea how everyone is singing its praises. It's meant to be Netflix's biggest ever show. It's still like a month and a bit on now. I think it's still in the top 10 shows on Netflix. It's that the last time I looked, apparently it has 100% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. My word, it is so boring. It's the most boring show I've ever seen. Even the action parts. So I watched the first episode. It took forever to get to the game. Anyway, um, I started watching it, and the 10 seconds or so that I watched was just super condensed. It managed to make a game where people are just getting sniped boring. It actually, I think it was done in real time. It took 10 minutes for that game to end. It was awful. But I thought, well, a lot of things start bad. A lot of things start bad. I'll give it a try because everybody can't be wrong, which they were. They were wrong because it's awful. So I watched the second episode, where for some reason they just vote themselves out, so they're not in the game anymore. So the second episode, nothing happens. They could have just omitted that from the thing, and nothing. There wouldn't have been any loss if the second episode hadn't. I just need to adjust this a bit. Actually, there we go. That's a bit better. Yep. No, it's not. Still. There we go. That's better. So yeah, the the second episode may as well have not happened for what use it was. They're just not on the island or in the factory wherever it was. I was bored. They're not there anymore. They're just home now all of a sudden. And then by the end of the episode, they just decide to go back. So just don't have that in at all because it's pointless filler. It's like an hour of pointless filler, and that's all the show is. It's just filler after filler after filler after filler. The second game has got a 10-minute time limit, and it's get the middle out of a cookie or honeycomb without breaking it. What's entertaining about that? It's ridiculous, and they're meant to be in this like big state of the art thing under constant with the guards constantly keeping an eye on them. So if they fail, they just get killed. Oh, apart from that one bird who snuck a lighter in and is just able to heat her lighter up and just carve it out. So that's just overlooked. That's just a little plot armor that she's just got this invisibility. Oh, and she's also then just able to hand the lighter to someone else for him to then win, for him to get through as well. It's ridiculous. It's so inconsistent. Then that scene there, considering that game took place over 10 minutes, it's 17 minutes in the fucking show. It's 17 minutes of watching people licking honeycomb and snapping bits of honeycomb off to get a shape out of a cookie. It's awful. Like, it's so bad. And then what was game number three? I can't remember. Is game number three? Is that the? Oh God! Then there's a tug of war then over something. There's a tug of war over a big pit, which because that part's good because all of the main characters, all of the good main characters, they form one team. Then all of the bad main characters, they form one team. So you're like, oh well, they're all going to survive then because they're not just going to get rid of all of those characters. Yeah, and then so that was awful. And you only see two of the games on that, which are really, really drawn out and take fucking forever for them to happen. So that's awful. Then yeah, then what was the fourth game? Was that, oh fucking hell, the fourth game? The fourth game isn't even a game. It's like an episode. It took 40 minutes of people walking around with marbles. That's it. They're just walking around and talking about marbles and in this little fake village. It is just. It's 40 minutes of dialogue. It is so dull. There is no point to it whatsoever. And like, oh yeah, you're meant to see like how evil one of the supposed good guys are because he sacrifices his mate, and then the old man who if you haven't already figured out, it's a big twist as well. If you haven't already figured out that the old man is the organizer of it all, then you're an idiot. Do you know what I mean? You're an absolute fucking idiot. Then it ends up with the Christ. Then there's that game where which this so bear in mind it's all meant to be based on childhood games. So game number 5, that's the popular childhood game where kids line up over a massive drop and have to decide whether it's tempered glass or normal glass they're going to jump on. Do you know that? Do you remember that game from your childhood? Don't you? Tempered glass or normal glass? Where yeah, absolutely ridiculous. And then in every episode as well, there seems to be some sort of MacGuffin, and in this one is one of the guys has worked at a glass factory for 40 years, so can tell the difference. He can just look at them. He can just look at them and tell the difference. So yeah, that's that thing done. So then by this point they've killed off nearly every single character by this point, apart from 3. Yeah, and then when for some reason when the glass game ends as well, when 3 of them make it across, all of the glass behind them then just explodes and basically can almost kill them all. Something that's not in every other game. Like in every other game, once it's over, it's over. Apart from that one, where once the game's over, there's a massive explosion that might kill you. And the good thing about that game as well, I think, is in every single game, the main character, who's just one of the most unlikable pieces of shit ever committed to like television, this awful fucking guy, he gets through each game in the last second in every single game. In every single game, he's the last one across. He's the last one to survive, and he always does it just as the second ticks down. It's like, oh god, do you know what I mean? It's so dull. It is, and you just know it's going to happen in every single game. Yeah, then these new VIP characters are introduced, and they're the worst actors in history. And like they've got these big masks on, like they're meant to be living these, like they're meant to be all there, like sipping their wine and doing their shots. Their masks cover it, so they can't even drink. It's such a massively stupid. Oh my! It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. It is such a bad show. And the worst part is, there's all these arseholes out there who are going to be like, you only don't like it because it's popular. No, I don't like it because it's shit. Do you know what I mean? It is an awful, awful TV show, and it was so boring. And also, like, I love that sort of idea of like when people are that entitled that if you don't like something that they like, you're the one in the wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like, and if it's popular, then you're screwed. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, yeah, you can't like, you can't like it. I don't know what that part was. I might even edit that bit out. But fucking hell, like it is. I watched every episode, so no one could even use the whole. Oh, you need to watch it out. You need to watch it out. But then after I said that, I thought it was shit. They're like, well, did you watch it with the subtitles on or off? And it's like, well, with the subtitles on, obviously. It's like, well, did you watch it in Korean or with the English dubbing? It doesn't make a difference how I watched it. It was shit. It was one of the worst TV shows I've ever seen in my entire life. It was absolutely awful. It's pretty. That's a pretty dog shit stout as well. I'm not going to say who it is, but it sums up exactly why I don't drink 4% stouts. Yeah, so Squid Game, one of the worst TV shows I've ever seen in my entire life. It managed to make the Battle Royale format phenomenally boring just because everything in it is so slow. Yeah, and the best part is I know that all of you fucking idiots like it. It is one of the worst things I've ever watched. So yeah, I mean, you've just watched this video, which is basically makes me a hypocrite because I've just spent 10 minutes talking about something that I could have done in 30 seconds. So yeah, that's my own personal Squid Game hell. That you have to watch. And in the off chance that you did, enjoy this, give me a like, give me a subscribe, much appreciated. And I'm probably going to give my view. I watched that new, is it James Wan film, like *Malignant* or something like that? I watched that recently, and I'll pop a little review about that up in the next couple of days as well. Yeah, have a good one. Off to the pub now. Yeah, see you in a bit. Bye. Here's a little bit extra actually, because I've actually packed away all of my kit. So there's actually another subplot in the thing where there's a policeman manages to sneak into the game somehow as one of the workers, because he's looking for his lost brother or something like that, and that goes from season 2, I think, to like the episode before the last episode, and it was such a pointless part of the story. I forgot that happened. I've literally just remembered that happened as I was packing everything away. I was like, oh, I didn't talk about the shitty subplot. The subplot may as well have not been in there. You missed nothing by the subplot not being in there. So yeah, this is just like a little bit of beer extra, a little bit of extra with the big lad, which is never a bad thing. So yeah, Squid Games was a shite.